Goldylocks Productions broadcasts universal cosmic frequencies that unlock, awaken, and expand the consciousness of our worldwide viewers and listeners. Enjoy this Goldylocks Productions presentation of the Stacey and Company show. Stacey Ericson channels messages from your higher self and other realms. Connect with your own unicorn and dragon. Step into this magical realm now.
Hey everyone, I'm so happy to be here today. It's so exciting to be here on St. Patrick's Day. So happy St. Patrick's Day to everyone. I wore my only green shirt that I own, and I used to ride my horse in it, and so hopefully it's appropriate for today. But anyway, what I wanted to do is talk with you today. I've got such a cool show today. I've found all this really neat information that is in a book, and we'll talk about this book, because we have to give the author some credit here because she is amazing. And I feel like everybody's going to want to buy this book. So the show today is all about leprechauns and fairies and other mythical creatures that are just so much fun and interesting. And so we'll get to it pretty quickly here. But I do want to remind you of what this show is about. And it's about everything that has to do with the natural world. So it's the natural world and other realms, everything that exists that has energy. And that includes crystals and, the mountains and trees and everything. Even your house, believe it or not, has, this energy, and you can speak to your house. That's why feng shui is so important, to maintain that energetic feel for the house and to help the house feel welcome and welcoming and, creates this beautiful energy throughout the entire house. So today we're going to talk about, this energy and what everything kind of brings in as energy, and all these, like I said, beings that have, wanted to show up today. It's really, really interesting. So, of course, as usual, it's my last minute show because everything comes in just last minute for me nowadays. And I'm not sure why, but it kind of does. So bear with me because they're throwing a lot of information at me today. And it's, like I said, it's beautiful energy. So anyway, welcome to the show. Raspberry Light is the name of the show. Raspberry Light is the name of my website. And that's because when your heart chakra, and we're going to talk about this today too, colors, especially the color green, is, so your heart chakra is normally green. But when it does flow into the energy of unconditional love, then it becomes this raspberry pink. And raspberry pink is really important in our lives. So if you can, add that into your house somewhere just to help you remind yourself of this energy of, the unconditional love. It's really important for us to remember that because unconditional love is where we come from. It's where we're going to go. And it's all about the other side, as well as the animals and the beings that live with us on our daily basis. Your pets and your squirrels that are outside. All of that is all about unconditional love. They love us, we love them. And so it creates this beautiful energy between us, and everybody is, happy. And like I said, it reminds us of who we are, and it gets us back into our hearts. So the month of March for me has been such an interesting journey so far. It's actually brought me into the idea of more love. Now, I'm not really sure why, but it felt like, February should have done that because of, Valentine's Day, right? But it didn't. And I think it's just because Mercury was retrograde or something. There was just a stagnated energy. But for some reason now it feels to me like March is really opening up, and it's creating this absolute gorgeous energy of love. It's helping us, receive the information of new spring, right? Spring is all about new beginnings. And so it feels to me like that's what's going on now. And so love is a part of that energy. So when I do readings right now for animals and for people, and you can go to my website to get readings if you want to at raspberrylight.com. And there it is right there. That's my website, and you'll love it. It's really cute. And so anyway, so when you do get readings right now, it seems like love is really coming into the readings as far as, like your significant other, what you're working on for yourself. Everything is coming in, and your animals especially. So last week we had our pets on the show, and it was a lot of fun. They all were so cute and had wonderful messages for their people. And so I just wanted to remind you about that love was, a big theme with them, as well as everything. Once again, everything that has energy is all about love too. So today we're going to talk about leprechauns. And that being said, they are also about love. Now, they do have it's funny. They do have a mischievous side to them. And, as in everything, there is like a yin and yang, or a good and, not so bad, but just, challenging side to things. And so with this, that being said, these little guys are really a lot of fun. So I've basically gone through and, tried to find as much information as I could today on leprechauns. And there actually isn't a whole lot out there. It's really interesting, that's all pretty much the same information. But from what I'm getting, they're really a lot of fun. And they, like I said, wanted to step in today and be present so that they could be celebrated the way that they get celebrated on St. Patrick's Day. So it's all about, St. Patrick's Day is all about, the celebration of, it's one of Ireland's biggest holidays, and they absolutely love it there. And it is celebrating St. Patrick, who is a patron saint. And he's really cool. Hi, Dr. Lauren Loves. Good to see you. Thanks for being here today. She says, blessings, yay, spring, rebirth, and new births. Woohoo. Yes, exactly. And it's going to be amazing, like truly amazing. I just feel this energy is so cool right now. It is so cool and so sweet for all of us. So anyway, so the leprechauns are really funny. So they came in today, and this is, once again, they like to be celebrated at this time of year. And they are really interesting. So funny. Oh, she's so sweet. She's waving. So they come from, once again, Ireland, but the whole thing is that they're everywhere, just like anything, in the other realms, because they are in another realm. They're associated with, they can be anywhere at any time. So that being said, we're going to go ahead and go into this. So tales of leprechauns actually emerged in the 8th century. So they've been around and been recognized forever, which is so much fun. So they're traditionally known to be members of the fairy family. They are only 2 to 3 feet tall. They dwell in tiny underground caves and hollow tree trunks. Now, I have to tell you, they do get quite large, though. Even though they are 2 or 3 feet tall, you can imagine that still is pretty big. And so they are very, let's say, their energy is really, really strong. You can feel their energy and their presence when they're around you. All you have to do is just call them in, and they'll be right there. So they are famous for being the cobblers of the fairy world, which are shoemakers, which is so interesting, right? Have you ever seen fairy shoes? They're like so cute. They're adorable. And some of them even are sparkly. It's really fun. So this profession earns them their iconic pots of gold. Now, nobody really knows why they need gold, because it's not like they have to buy anything with the gold. But the one thing that they said about the gold is that they can con, or not con, but be, let's see, where is it here? Well, we'll talk about them later. So there are men only, when they're little bearded men wearing a coat and a hat, who are very mischievous. They're originally, the leprechauns wore red instead of green, which is so interesting, and are considered solitary creatures. They are not to be trusted, as they like to play tricks on people, and they will grant 3 wishes to anyone that captures them. They are also considered very lucky, hence the clover that's there too. The leprechaun and currican are very similar. So the currican is another being that is very famous over in Ireland, from what I understand. So the currican, and I don't even know if I'm saying this name correctly, but currican, what they do is they haunt wine cellars, because they love wine. They're so funny. And they're motivated by the love of drinking, which is really cool. So traditionally, the currican dresses in green and are solitary household fairies that reveal or revel in tomfoolery and trickery. So these two beings have been kind of blended together. So leprechauns have now become, green is basically, and recognized by green instead. So the pots of gold at the end of a rainbow would be used by leprechauns as a means to trick passerbyers into barter with their captors, which is really funny. So when they're doing this when you capture if you can capture a leprechaun, which is so interesting. I don't even know how you could capture a leprechaun because in reality, they're very, very difficult. What they do is, it's really interesting, is that when you're speaking to the leprechaun, oh wait, hang on. Dr. Lauren Love says, Stacey, and are they the ones that hide keys, pens, etc.? Really? Yes, they can do that, but not as much as like what we think. Those are other beings, actually. They're beings that come up from the earth. They're like a leftover, almost like a shadow of energy that's left from, say, people that had lived on the land before. And so those beings come up, and they're not very attractive. And they come up. Actually, I've had a few that lived at my house. And anyway, they're on the negative side of the, beings. But yeah, they definitely are very difficult to, especially when they start hiding your keys or your pens, or in my case, it was my phone. I couldn't find my phone for 2 days. And I looked in the couch, like seriously looked in the couch I took the entire couch apart. I mean, it was really bad. And I had a business, the horse business. And so I needed my phone every day, every second of every day, so I could keep track of my lessons and keep track of everything. So anyway, so these beings actually hid the phone. And I did not know that they were there until I woke up next to him. And he was laying there, and he called himself Mother Goose. So they are trickeries. Yeah, those guys are trickeries. But leprechauns aren't necessarily the ones that do that. Those are more of another style of being that's not very, like I said, attractive. So, but thank you for the question. That's really cool. I know it's very bizarre. Some things I learned a lot when I lived at the farm and I started opening up to these new realms and these other worlds. It was crazy what was showing up at my house. It was really, really interesting too. And I did have a friend that helped me with this. And she said that, oh, by the way, that's one thing. If you do have, say, these tricksters that are in your home, all you have to do is open up your front door and literally tell them to get out. But you have to command them to leave, because they can't stay with the laws of the universe if you don't want them to. So you can just open up your front door and say, anything that does not belong here and is not for my better good or for my higher self or whatever it is that you want to say, then out you go. I don't need you in my life. So, and then they have to leave. And it was really interesting because I opened the door and I felt like this wind go past me. It was the coolest thing. It was like 3 of them. They all left, like really like, whoosh, whoosh. It was fun. So, so it does work. It does work. I never saw them again. But then when I moved into this house, this is an old house here in Florida that I live in, and built in 56. It also had some, undesirables. And so I had to ask them to leave as well and shoo them out a window. So it is possible. We have lots and lots and lots of power within our being. We can create and, command and do whatever we need to do to stay safe and also to not lose our keys. So, all right. So anyway, so the leprechauns are really cool because they're actually they're part of luck too. They're extremely lucky. So they remind us about luck. The other thing that I was reading about that was really interesting about them and I thought was really good was that they also remind us to not be greedy. And that's the whole thing with a pot of gold. They can entice us with this pot of gold, but yet, oh, you're very welcome. Yeah, sometimes we need to do that. And like I said, you'll feel them leave for sure because Dr. Lauren Love says, cool, I will do that. Thank you. So yeah, it's really interesting how you can just be like, out you go. And so anyway, so back to the luck. So it's really interesting how these little guys, these leprechauns are like so important for us because they do help us remember to not be greedy with those pots of gold. That's why the pot of gold is so elusive, along with the leprechauns of capturing one is also very difficult. And the reason why is to remind us that, greed doesn't work, and to take things that aren't ours also doesn't work. It's not good for our soul's progress, and it's not good for the energy of the world, because we bring whatever energy we want into the world, and then we can spread it all over the world, and it reflects back to us. It's like an infinity sign. What you put out, you get back. So that's the easiest way to remember it. It's really, really cool. All right, so we're going to move forward into other parts of today. So the fairies. So I actually have, I'm trying to figure this out because I'm so excited about this fairy book that I got. But I think what I'm going to do here is talk to you about the green. So let's do green first, and then we'll come back to the fairies. So colors, you know, I'm all about colors, especially with the unicorns and everything else. So colors are important in our lives. They can make us feel and think certain ways. Some are our favorite colors because they make us feel really, really good. Like mine right now is raspberry pink. So they also make us smile and feel joy, which helps us out emotionally. It keeps us healthy inside. So if you do have a favorite color, be sure to sprinkle it all over your house, you know, somewhere where you can see it. You know, we always like, oh, my favorite color is, say, navy blue. And yet you don't have one thing that's navy blue except for maybe a shirt or two. So make sure that you sprinkle it. Like I said, you can just sprinkle it with pillows, or you can sprinkle it with I don't know, candles, whatever it is that you, that you feel. I have these marbles that I put in these really cool sconces that are glass, so you can put it like a piece or anything that's glass, and then you can stick the colored marbles in it, whatever. Just make sure you kind of feng shui your house a little bit with this colors that you really enjoy and that feel good to you, because it brings a lot of good emotions for you. So the energetic and spiritual realms are also associated with certain colors and meanings to help explain the vibration of what they are. So the green in the leprechauns has gone into this Ireland. So Ireland is called the Emerald Island or Emerald Isle. And its green represents growth, new beginnings, health, renewal, harmony, hope, and peace, which is so interesting. When a spiritual sign shows up in your life that is green, so say you're going along, right, and you have a dream, and you're like, oh my gosh, that was such a vivid green, whatever it was. So I'll give you an example. For me, I had a dream recently, and it was about some alligators that had turned into a pig, which is the pig was a turquoise blue. And it was the strangest colored turquoise blue I'd ever seen in my life. Oh, cobalt blue is a beautiful color. So, but it was the neatest color too in the dream. It's like something I can't even describe to you. It's one of the unicorn colors that is like so bizarre. So it's really interesting how that showed up, but it also has some sort of color meaning that went with it. And so because it was so unusual to see a turquoise pig, then whatever it is that I'm going to be creating in the future is unusual. But it is still possible because it showed up in my dream. So this is, signs that you can get when you're dreaming. So the color green shows up in your dream, then this is stuff that, you can bring forward too as well. So when a spiritual sign shows up in your life, that is green, whether you dream of it or you physically notice the color, it usually represents that you are in a period of growth, starting a new chapter, or that it is time to explore a new part of yourself and plant seeds that will bring success in your future. Now, obviously, money is green too, so that also helps with that, idea of, a great future, to have money to help you, flourish and to move forward. So Linnell says, dragon power I'm working on lately. I need the power for sure right now. Oh yeah, definitely. Dragons are really stepping in right now, Linnell, so you're going to really have some fun with this. Today, though, is all about leprechauns and fairies. And of course, I'm sure that there's going to be a dragon that's going to step in here soon, because they always do. All right, so emerald green, which is the color of Ireland, or the name of it, is a very spiritual color. And it has like white added into the green. So that's one of the reasons why it's spiritual, considered spiritual. It represents prosperity, spiritual growth, and purity. It also represents love and fostering the love and connections with others, nature, the world, and the universe. So it's a really cool color to have around, is that emerald green. It's gorgeous, gorgeous color. I don't know if you guys know what that is, but it's such a beautiful color. So when you see emerald green, it often means that everything is happening exactly as it should, and to learn to receive the gifts that are headed your way. So all these colors have these vibrations, like I said, of this energy that, you know, you can bring forward. And as you learn about colors and understand colors, then you recognize that they're so important to have in your life and to bring into your life. So you want to make sure that you constantly think about colors, you know, being around you that help inspire you as well. It's so interesting and so much fun. So let's see here. So that's that with the colors on that one. So now, so there's other colors that we can talk about, but I do want to bring in the idea of luck. So luck is something that I was learning about today, and it's so interesting because you know, obviously thinking positive and being positive and all of that kind of stuff is so interesting. Yeah, green light for me, says Linnell. That's perfect. You're absolutely right. Green light means to move forward. Anything, you know, is just fantastic. So luck is also part of our story today. And it's so interesting because leprechauns are all about luck. They really are. They are very lucky, but they also bring you luck. You know, they help us. Like when we see them, we think of, you know, a lucky leprechaun. And it's really interesting how much fun they can be with, you know, this luck that they have. So with everything that we do in our lives, this is so interesting. And I forgot to tell you about this in last week's show, but the thing is that even our animals bring forward this energy of luck for us. You know, they remind us of something. Like, for instance, if you have a dog that loves to play with things, you know, sometimes they have a certain color that they actually like more so than another one. Like my dog, she loves this little like spiky red ball. Like, I don't know why, but she loves that color. So anything red, she usually gravitates towards. So it's all red. So it's really wild because even her collar is red. And I just didn't even think about it, but I just inherently, you know, got her a red collar. So it's kind of fun and interesting how our animals speak to us, you know, through colors as well, and help us recognize the colors that are needed in our lives too, because red is a great color for, you know, power, for empowerment, for obviously love, for bringing luck, you know. So like the Chinese love red doors for luck. They love to paint the outsides of their doors for luck. In feng shui, if you paint your front door, if it's facing south, a southern facing front door red, then that is also lucky. So you have all of these interesting colors that can help us, you know, with luck as well. So it's so, so, so cool. So then the other thing is finding, say, you know, something on the ground. So you can find a penny. Now, the big thing is, and I just learned this just recently with, you know, finding these like different things that come up. So you're walking along and you find a penny on the ground. So important to pick it up, because what it is that you're thanking the universe for bringing you, you know, this luck of abundance. And that's basically what it is. Whether it means, excuse me, money to you, or whether it means just abundance, it's really important to recognize it and to complete the cycle of it coming to you. So pick it up, put it in your pocket or, you know, in your purse, whatever, and just hang on to it. It's really, really cool. And you'll see that your luck will change. A lot of things happen this way. We feel that we're going along in life and we're just kind of trudging along and, you know, things aren't really going our way. But if you start to really look around, the universe starts showing you these signs. Now, there's another sign too that's on cars. If you look at their license plates, it's so much fun, by the way. I was thinking of something one time and all of a sudden this license plate went by and it said crown on the license plate. It was the coolest thing ever, because I was thinking, I forget what I was thinking about, but it was the neatest thing. I think I was thinking of my horse actually. And she's like all about crowns, by the way. Her name is Madonna, and she is very much a queen. She's not even a princess. She's a queen. So anyway, so it was really interesting to see that that crown, you know, that sign came up, and, you know, just that idea of that energy of pulling that energy towards you and forward into your life. And that's what it's all about. So, you know, recognizing that there is these signs about luck that you can have for luck. So like, you know, the 4-leaf clover is lucky, or the 3-leaf clover. I forget which one it is. I'm sorry, but yeah, it's one of those. And it's really interesting and a lot of fun to you know, really pay attention to all of these signs that come forward, and you can incorporate them into whatever it is that you have, you know, as far as, you know, your what is it? I love triangles, by the way, and I consider them lucky for myself because anytime I have triangles around me, it feels like, things just sort of like shift and change and they all go right into however it's supposed to be. So at my farm, when I was trying to do triangles to have, these board triangles that the bridles could fit on and all this stuff, but they still didn't look right. So I made them into a diamond. So it's 2 triangles, right, on top of each other. And it turned out really, really well. So everything had these diamonds all over the farm. And it was the neatest thing. And people were like, how did you do that? And I said, well, I just love triangles. Literally love triangles. I don't really care for diamonds, but that's how it worked out. And so it just turned into this huge dynamic that went with the farm, and the farm was so successful. And I do feel that it's because that sign also brought in more luck. So the whole thing is staying open to shifts and changes to help you sort of, flow into like whatever the universe is bringing to you for luck. Now, seeing different animals is also lucky. There's also all these different types of animals. Like, for instance, just recently, I've been dreaming a lot about elephants. Now, the elephants have been so interesting in my dream because like the elephant, and if anybody gets anything on this, please do share because this is really interesting and I've not been able to decipher and figure out this dream quite yet. But anyway, it was holding on to my left arm and it wrapped its trunk around me and it was holding on to me and it was trying to tell me something. Now, being, the animal consultant that I am, in my dream, I had no idea what this elephant was saying. So it's just kind of funny that I didn't know, I still don't know. Like, I really don't know what this elephant meant or what it was saying or why I was in my dream, but it was a beautiful, I want to say it was female. So I'm pretty sure it was a female elephant. But anyway, it's so interesting. So interesting. Oh, Dr. Lauren Love says, I have jade triangles from Beijing. Oh, wow. Those are so cool. So jade, speaking of that, is green. And thank you for sharing that because that is so true. So jade is so lucky. Jade is like one of the luckiest gems that you can get. So it's really interesting. I wanted to share with you that too. Hang on just a second here. So I was reading just recently and it said a common way for green to appear in your life with messages from spirit are in the form of crystals and stones. The most common green stones and their symbolisms are, so there's amazonite, which is for healing, physical health, and high vitality. Then there's green apatite, which is funny. That's like really funny. The end of physical pain and the beginning of new growth. Then there's chrysocolla. Excuse me if I don't say these properly. Communication is needed to clear up confusing emotions. Then there's emerald, which we've already talked about, and that is love is on its way. Open your heart to receive it. Then there's green fluorite, which I actually had a dream about too, and that's organization and structure are needed to bring your project to the next level of growth, which makes perfect sense. And then fuchsite is kindness will raise your vibration and the vibration of others. Send greeting cards to long lost friends or volunteer at your local homeless shelter. And then malachite. This stone encourages you to take that risk and go for it. Your bravery will only make you stronger. And then peridot, it is time to break negative patterns and find a healthy routine to foster long-term growth. So all of these are so interesting and so much fun, you guys, for, to have to add into your life, these stones or crystals. And we talked about that. You can look them up all day long. There's so many different styles and types and colors of stones. I was actually talking to my producer, Tiffany, about the colors, and, she's in love with purple. And so me being pink, my stone is the rose quartz right now. And so it seems like, I was told to actually sleep with rose quartz in my hands to remind me of and to really feel into and tap into that unconditional love. And I think that that's what's helping me bring so much of that forward in this month of March. So it's really, really cool. So my producer says the elephant wrapping her trunk on your left spiritual arm, she is supporting you in your spiritual journey. Never forget that you are not alone and that you are abundant in every way. Oh, I love that. That's like so sweet. Thank you, Tiffany. You're such a great woman. Thank you so much. That's Reverend Tiffany love her so much. So thank you. That's awesome. And you're right. I didn't even think about it being my left arm being the spiritual side of me. So that's another thing, when you're picking something up or receiving it, you want it to be on your left side. So it's really interesting. So like say you do have a crystal that you want to receive its energy, then you put that in your left pocket. If you want to give it out to the world, send love out into the world, then you would put it into your right pocket. If I had the rose quartz in my pockets. So interesting. So thank you. Oh my gosh, that's awesome. Yeah, felt so good. It was really wild. It almost kind of scared me because it was very real, but it was so interesting at the same time. That the energy of it was very, really cool. So anyway, so elephants are amazing, by the way, and they're coming in big time. So I wanted to make sure that I mentioned them in this show because next show is going to be more about the magical animals of Earth at this time. There's a lot of animals that are coming in to help us remember the old magic, which is, what is needed for all of us to bring forward to make these changes that we need to for the future of the world. And so elephants are a big deal in this. They actually carry ancient magical wisdom in their trunks. And that's one of the reasons why, they get killed for their trunks because of that magic. And some people know and some people don't know. It just depends on who they are. But really interesting that that's, there. And that's the reason why elephants are being taken, off the earth. So interesting. But all right, so back to fairies. So fairies really want to talk to us today. And like I said, the leprechauns, they want us to know that they are good, they're fun, and to smile and have a good time with them. Because like I said, they're not really the tricksters. They're not the ones that, want to be, they are benevolent. They are loving, they're full of love, and they're full of fun. And so, and they've been around forever, just like most things that are out there. And it's so much fun. And so they're going to start to come forward even more so today. So a lot of people are going to be, claiming that they saw these little guys, running around. And I can't wait to see the stories, that are out there about them. But in the meantime, we're going to talk more about fairies too, because the fairies want to come forward as well. And they're all about love too. Now, we were talking about that there are some, not so benevolent fairies, but most of them are very, very good and are a lot of fun to talk to. So I'm going to tell you the story about the first time I ever met fairies. And it was really interesting because like I said, I was at the farm and I was really just not even knowing anything about anything or believing in anything. And it was so cool to be confronted is pretty much what had happened. So I was teaching in the arena. And at the time I felt so grounded and so, connected, to earth, because when you're out in nature, that's a big deal for us right now. We need to be around animals. We really do need to be around nature. Everybody needs to get out there and really, and really be with, and I'm talking with as in like, your heart, bring forward your heart, the love in your heart, and stretch it out into the world and really, really connect into the trees, the animals. The animals are huge right now in that because they're really asking us to do that because they're helping us get this wisdom and remember who we are and where we come from and why we are here. They can help us with all of that. I know it sounds, like because they have smaller brains and they're stuck in these little bodies and everything else that they don't have it, but they actually do. They have a lot to share with us. So much information is coming forward more so now than ever before because they're also more advanced, just like we are. So as they're, constantly coming back, constantly, they're also learning from the other side, picking new jobs, coming up with new ways to create better for the earth right now. So for me, I've really been tapping into a lot more of the animals, and it's really been a lot of fun. And so much information is coming forward. Like I said, new information that is just beyond us. And is very, very helpful. So this ancient magic hopefully will really start to show up as well through these beings. And so I encourage everyone to hug a dog, sit with a cat, go outside and sit with a tree. But like I said, and talk to the squirrels or whatever it is that you have outside your door. Snakes are really, really good to talk to, by the way. They have a lot to say right now about Earth and what's happening. And you can feel into Earth's vibration with a snake's help. Snakes are really, because they're so connected to earth. So if you ever want to step into, Earth's vibration or feel her own heartbeat, then you can ask an animal to come forward and help you receive her heartbeat too. So, we have lots of helpers out there in the world right now that you can actually see, touch, and feel. Like, again, if you're not afraid of snakes and it's not a poisonous one, obviously you can pick it up and hold it for a little while and ask it to sit with you. And more than likely it will. Oh, that being said, I want to say this. This is really cool. So the other day I had a lizard in my house. Now, lizards are really fun. They're like baby dragons, they look like tiny little dragons and they're so cute. I just love them. But anyway, this one was kind of chunky and fat and it was a really big one. And it got in the house and it wouldn't leave. And so after a day of it being here, I was finally like, look, I really want you to go outside because you have to eat. And they eat palmetto bugs, by the way. Those lizards are the best. I love them so much. I would become a lizard breeder if I could because they eat the palmetto bugs, which I know palmetto bugs has a purpose too, but oh my gosh, they're not my thing. So anyway, so the lizards are so cute. So this one lizard was in the house and I asked it, and this is something that you can do too. Once again, like I said, you can sit with the snake and ask the snake to hang out with you, or you can sit with the spider and ask it to hang out with you. Now tell it you don't want to touch it, or maybe you do like to touch it, whatever happens, But so anyway, so I was telling the lizard that I really wanted to get it outside so that it could survive, go eat some, its meal. And anyway, so I put a Tupperware down with, a paper plate, and I told it to get in the Tupperware and then I would take it outside, but don't jump back out, So I'm just going to put the plate on top just to help it feel a little bit more safe for my sake, not for it. So anyway, so I couldn't believe it, but it was so cool because I couldn't hear the little guy and just jumped right in the Tupperware. I was like, okay, it jumped right in. And I swear that the fairies were there to help it get in the little Tupperware and telling it where to go and all that kind of stuff. They were kind of herding it into the Tupperware. It was the cutest thing ever. And put it outside. It said, thank you. And off it went. And so it was so cool. So anyway, so back to the fairies when I met them. It was so interesting. So I was sitting outside and I was teaching a lesson at the farm. And it was the neatest thing ever. I just loved it so much. And so anyway, so I was teaching a lesson to a kid that was riding a horse. And all of a sudden I hear this. And I was like, what the heck is that? Like, that's just kind of crazy. And I could hear the cow behind me that was eating grass. Did you know that cows actually like wrap their tongues around the grass and pull them into their mouths? It's so interesting. So anyway, so the fairies. So the fairies started talking and I said, oh my gosh, are you guys fairies? And it was, still going, and I couldn't understand anything. So I asked them to slow down their speech and they did. And as soon as they did that, I started to look and I could see them. Now, for me, I see them as little sparks of light. I don't see them as little people with wings and all that kind of stuff. So for me, I see them more as just little bursts of light. And they're so cute, by the way, because they're so beautiful, but they're tiny little bursts of light and they're just gorgeous. So anyway, so they started speaking and telling me things, and it was very, very interesting. And they're, like I said, they're benevolent beings, so all full of love and just so interesting to talk to. And once again, you can have them come and sit with you anytime. So if you're outside and you just ask them to join you, they will come and sit with you, and then you can ask them to show themselves and they will do that as well. So it all just depends on like what it is that you want interaction wise, and you will receive it quite quickly and quite easily, because I have to tell you, these beings are really wanting to interact with us right now. And it's really important that we do, because we can glean so much information from them. They have a ton of information for us and just so much fun to talk to anyway. And these were cute little girl fairies. They were so adorable. And then as I got my eyes started training a little bit more, so as I was hanging out with my friends and things like that, then I started to see the fairies, dancing and doing things. And then I saw them more as little, beings, little people beings. And so it was really interesting how, and isn't it funny how everything sort of looks like us? It's kind of funny, but I love it. It's so much fun. And I think it's because, we're a part of them and they're a part of us. And so we are all one. It's a lot of fun. All right. So that being said, I'm going to show you this book. It's the coolest book ever. And I got it like a while back, but for some reason today it just sort of, jumped off the shelf at me. And so this is the book, and it's really cool. It's right here. It's Emily Carding, and it's Fairy Craft, and it's The Enchanted Realm. And this book is so interesting. It's really quite thick, just so you know. But I did want to read this to you because I thought this was so much fun. And I wanted to give more information on all kinds of things that are out there in the world today besides just fairies. So in this book, there's this part of the book, and it says it's the Fairy Zodiac. So pay attention because everybody's birthday is in here, just so you know. And it's so interesting. So it says that, and I'm going to read to you, but you guys are going to love it, I promise. So it says the Fairy Zodiac, dividing the 4 elements into 3 different qualities. We find ourselves with a direct elemental parallel to the Western zodiac system. She says, I have assigned appropriate fairy beings and myths to these 12 elemental divisions to give us a fairy zodiac. Not only is this an interesting way to look at the different beings and stories that are associated with the varied environmental manifestations of the elements, but it is also an excellent way of personally identifying with the qualities of the elements and their spiritual personalities. This is, of course, only a brief look at the sun signs and does not take into account the full complexity of astrology with the positioning of the other planets, but there is certainly scope to take these ideas and develop them further as a system. So this is just fun. Like I said, it's really quick. So we're going to start with pretty much, I don't even know, no, not today, because it's March 21st. All right, so March 21st to April 20th, which is, not far off. So it's Lug, the warrior. Its primal is fire, which is soul, which is, sun. So Lug, Lamfada, that's his name, and it's long-armed, is a great warrior poet and champion of the Tuatha Du Danann, the gods of ancient Ireland, from whom it is said that the Side are descended. He is also known as Lug Samildanach, which means many skilled, for he was admitted to Tara, the sacred home of the Tuatha, on the grounds that although they had many amongst them who were highly skilled in the same areas as Lug, there were none like him who were highly skilled in all areas. People of this sign are natural leaders if they can learn to manage their quick tempers. There may be a tendency to react passionately and rush headfirst into challenging situations without fully thinking it through, but there is also a likelihood that luck will be with them, as well as the skill to come out on top. Warriors are ambitious but noble, channeling their fiery natures into ambitions that benefit those they care about. They are driven by a strong will and can inspire others with their charismatic natures. So it's so cool, right? All right, so April 21 through May 20th. Now, my sister's birthday is April 30th, so this is for her. It's still earth, which is stone, and it's Gogmag the giant. I just love that name, Gogmag. Okay, Gogmag. Oh, it's Gog-Magog. That's what it is. Was a guardian of the ancient land of Kurnow, once a country in its own right, now known as Cornwall in the southwest of Britain. Giants are known through the folklore and mythology of many lands around the world for their great size and for being intimately connected with the landscape. Unusual stone formations usually have their stories of great contests between giants or of giantesses who drop stones from their enormous aprons. They are also known for their great appetite. So people of this sign tend to be reliable as stone itself, though they may at times be slow to act. When they do, it is decisive and focused, and little can get in their way. They are fond of good things in life, and when they are happy and stable conditions, they have a giant's appetite. However, when they are unsettled or in stressful circumstances, they can be a force to be reckoned with. A giant in a temper cannot be reasoned with, and other signs may well find themselves giving way to the sheer force of this sign. However, they are generally gregarious, sensual, and loving in relationships. This is fun. It's like now you know that guy was a giant. It's so cool. So then there's May 21st through June 21st, which is living air wind, and it's Pegasus, the winged horse. Now, remember, I told you last week that I really wanted to start talking about Pegasuses, but this week they didn't want to come in, so we'll just figure that out next time. I think maybe next week we'll start talking to them because we're going to be talking to all these magical beings. Hey, Melissa, thanks. And hi, Super Space Cookie. It's good to see you too. All right, so Pegasus, the winged horse and steed of victorious warriors, is one of the most iconic magical beasts of Greek mythology. Though his mythical origins are of the element of water, being born of Poseidon and Medusa, this beast is clearly associated with the more dynamic qualities of the element of air. Graceful and powerful, Pegasus can be seen as a personification of the wild wind itself. People of this sign, like Pegasus himself, fly high and fast through life, often leaving others behind them. They are mercurial, and often their speech is as fast and intense as their thoughts. With a tendency to think out loud and rapidly shifting trains of thoughts, they can be fascinating yet exhausting company. Just as Pegasus' fame comes through the deeds of others to whom he was indispensable, so people of this sign display great loyalty and devotion and work well as part of a partnership or team. Because their minds are like the wind itself, never still, they can seem to change their minds often. This is not hypocrisy or a split personality, however, but rather an exploration of all angles in the search for truth. That is so cool. I love that one because it's a Pegasus. All right, so June 22nd to July 22nd is the primal water, which is ocean, and it's Liban the mermaid. So Liban was an extraordinary figure. Oh, they got a picture of a mermaid over here, but it's not her. Okay, so Liban was an extraordinary figure, being the offspring of a union between Eton of the Tuatha De Danann. Yeah, I'm killing it on these words, you guys. And Echad, or of the Verbolg, who was transformed into a mermaid and eventually canonized by the Catholic Church as Saint Mergen. Mermaids, beautiful women with the tails of fish, can be found in mythology and folklore all over the world. Quite often, they are helpful and friendly to humanity. In some cases, they can even appear as humans when out of water. Now, I did have a show on mermaids, remember, and they are real. They're totally real, and they're probably going to start showing themselves eventually here soon. So, however, for every tale of a beneficial mermaid, there is a darker encounter to recall, often of their haunting song and captivating beauty, luring sailors and other unsuspecting souls to their doom. That show explains why. People of this sign are deeply emotional and sensitive, befitting the association with the element of water in its most primal form. When they fall in love, it becomes their whole world, and their moods can become dark indeed when they are betrayed or disappointed. People of this sign are often natural healers and tend to be driven by compassion for others. They have a love of music and can be talented singers, channeling their emotional natures into creative expression. Oh my goodness, we're going to have to keep going here. So we got time. Okay, July 23rd to August 22nd is Still Fire, which is Inner Light. And this is Myrddin the Seer. So a key figure of the fairy world, both past, mythic, and present, is the Fairy Seer, the most famous of which must be Myrddin Wyllt, who later became Merlin, trusted mystic and advisor to King Arthur. Born to a mortal princess and immortal father, Merlin is believed to be either half demon or half fairy, and he certainly is holder of many keys to the mysteries of the other world. As one who expresses the power of his inner fire, though the gift of prophecy, Myrddin sees what others do not, and as such is more occupied by the bigger picture of life and by bringing his plans for the greater good to fruition than he is about the individual. Now, the last unicorn was also with, hi, Super Cookie, thank you for that super sticker. So anyway, so the last unicorn, sorry, I just lost track of my thoughts for a minute there. The very last unicorn was protected by Merlin, which is so interesting. So people with this sign may possess great charisma and vision, but find it difficult to accept and assimilate the views of others. They often possess great confidence and are aware and and awareness of their talents, and this can lead to a clear sense of direction from an early age. The downside of this is a tendency towards the egocentric. They can be intensely charismatic and are excellent communicators, giving them the ability to influence people in their favor. Although they can lead, they tend to do so subtly from the background rather than stepping forward. Though they have no trouble making their ideas understood, their emotions tend to be well controlled, and they will only allow those with whom they are very close to see their true feelings. I know somebody like this, so yes, this seems to be very true. Okay, so August 23rd to September 22nd is Living Earth Wood. Oh, geez. I have no idea how to say this, but I'm just going to butcher it again. So it's Eurodice the Dryad. Dryad is word from Greek mythology taken from the Greek word dries, which means oak. Though in the original context, they were believed to be the beautiful feminine spirits of oak trees specifically. It is now used as a general term for most tree spirits. One of the most well-known dryads from ancient myths is Eurodice, the lover of Orpheus. This famous tale tells how the beautiful Eurodice was suddenly killed by a venomous snake that was hidden in the grass. Orpheus valiantly pursues her spirit to the underworld, where he confronts Hades and convinces him to allow her spirit to return on the condition that as he ascends, he does not look behind him to check that she follows him. Tragically, Orpheus cannot help himself, and as he turns to look, Eurodice is lost to him forever. Just as dryads are closely connected to their tree, so it is that people of this sign have a love of their home and may not be keen on too much travel or adventure. They tend to be shy and reserved, though intelligent and with a great eye for detail. Although they find it difficult to trust others, when trust is won, they are loyal and steadfast, and their varied sensuality may flourish with the right person. Dryads love the natural world, and people of this sign make keen gardeners, liking their space to be as perfect as possible. That's like so cool. Isn't this fun, you guys? So Goldylocks, thank you, Sarah. Super cookie donation and super sticker. I know. Thank you so much, Sarah. Appreciate it. Hee Reverend Tiffany. All right. So September 23rd, October 22nd. Yeah, we got time here. This is like so much fun. I love this. Isn't this cool? You see, we're learning about all these like really neat things that are in the world, you know, like the dryad. Didn't even know that existed. That's so much fun, right? Well, I mean, I know that trees do have hearts, but did not know that. So anyways, so this is the Gabiathan, the horn. It's an actual horn. And it's primal air breath. So through the mythology of the world and in many cultures, there are tales of warriors who sleep in the hollow hills awaiting a time of great need when they will awaken. In the British Isles, this is usually King Arthur and his knights, or sometimes Merlin. In a number of versions of this tale, there is a horn that must be blown to awaken the sleeping king and his knights alongside a sword that must be drawn. The power of the horn to wake those who have been lost to enchanted sleep for so many centuries is testament to the primal power of the element of air through our own breath. The name given to the sign of the Fairy Zodiac is Gabiathan, which is the Welsh word for hopes. This seems fitting as the horn that wakes the sleepers carries the hopes of the land in its music. People of this sign have a naturally noble nature that can be taken incorrectly for snobbery. They have an awareness of their calling in life and are concerned with justice and maintaining harmony. This can mean that they seem emotionally detached, but in reality, they prefer to be objective in order to be fair to everyone, as they care so deeply about the rights of others. Truth is highly important to them, yet they are sensitive to the fact that truth can be personal and subjective, so are sometimes easily swayed. Gabiathan people may be crusaders for just causes, but usually from behind the scenes rather than as figureheads. They have a keen aesthetic sense and enjoy creative expression, particularly in the field of music. That is so cool. Love it. All right, October 23rd to November 22nd. So we're going to go over just a little bit today. So this is Nimmu, the Lady of the Lake. Have you heard about that? There's like a movie, I think it's called The Lady of the Lake. I wonder if it's scary. I'm not sure. I'm not really good with scary movies. Okay, so lakes have long been acknowledged as gateways to the other world and magical dwellings of fairy women. There are many tales of lake maidens who are the custodians of otherworldly wisdom and, at the same time, the breakers of men's hearts. Oh my. One of the more well-known of these maidens is the Lady of the Lake of Arthurian fame, who gifts Excalibur to the young King Arthur and is the lover of the great seer and sorcerer Merlin. Most known versions of this tale tell how she seduced and betrayed Merlin, trapping him in a tree or a hole beneath a stone, but these are late additions. Her origins lie in an ancient sister and lover of Merlin's who was in every way his equal, a priestess to his priest, the intuitive and receptive female polarity of magic. It's magic with a K, so it's so cool because that's ancient magic. Okay, so just like a lake, what is happening on the surface of this sign may not always show what lies beneath. They are good at keeping secrets and have a natural awareness of the mysteries of life. They are naturally intuitive and creative, but may at times use their intuition to manipulate others. Generally, they prefer to keep people at a safe distance, but when they do allow people to become close, as they will with a select few, they are deeply intense. There are two sides to everyone, but this is particularly apparent in Nimmu people, as beneath the sparkling, seductive surface, there is a dark side that, fed by a fertile imagination, can be sensual and erotic, but also sensitive, with a tendency to hold on to painful memories. I know somebody like this too, and that does seem to be fitting. Okay, so November 23rd to December 21st is Lady... Oh, this is so cool. We just talked about this, Linnell. A dragon is here. Okay, so this is Ladin the dragon, which is living fire. So Ladin was the great twisting serpent-like dragon who guarded the famous golden apples in the garden of the Hesperides in Greek mythology. Apples are a symbol of wisdom, so we can see this as the dragon being a guardian of ancient wisdom. In world mythology, dragons take many forms and have varying powers and qualities. They have been seen as both malevolent and beneficent, but they are almost always guardians of some kind, either of treasure or of a sacred place. Often the defeating of a dragon challenger is a form of initiation for mythic heroes, allowing them access to wisdom that was so carefully guarded until he was ready. So people born under the sign of Ladin, the dragon, can be as difficult to pin down as the great serpent himself. They often have many interests and facets and pursue them all with great vigor. People of this sign have their own treasure to guard. However, so whilst many things about their lives will often shift and change, the things that are precious to them will be a well-protected constant. This may well be the spiritual beliefs, which are often important to Ladin people, to whom tradition and ritual are of high importance. This sign also enjoys challenging others as they like to see what makes people tick. Just like a dragon, if you can pass their tests, you may be admitted to the treasure of their wisdom. Now remember, dragons are keepers of the keys and codes, so their realm is all about that, the keepers of the keys and codes. They're just incredible, really, really neat. Okay, so the very last one, which is now, oh, no, I take that back. We're not there yet. Okay, this is December 22nd through January 20th. And it's Pan, the faun, which is primal earth. So Pan is an ancient god of Greek origin, thought to predate the Olympian gods. The Greeks worshipped him as a god of pastures and flocks. And his goat-like form as a faun reflected this association. In modern practice, it is generally accepted that Pan is a primal force, the male polarity of nature itself and the rhythm of life. He was famous for his pursuit of passionate exchanges with nymphs of the forest, and also for the sweet music played on his pipes. He is the lord of beasts and the spirit of the wild, sharing many qualities of other horned gods, such as the Celtic Cernunnos, and the more recent Herne, the hunter of British folklore. I'm gonna have to look up some of these things. This is like really interesting. So the earthy nature of this sign makes it highly practical in nature. People of this sign like to see results and rewards for their endeavors and can be very driven by material reward. When they are focused on a task, they can be relentless if they can see the potential gain from it. But if not, they can become uninterested and disheartened. When this happens, Pan people can rapidly fall into very dark moods. But if their needs are met, they can be lifted out of the darkness just as rapidly. They have a need to be secure and stable in a relationship and are very loyal if they meet the right person. So cool. All right, so January 21 to February 19th, we're almost done here, is still air, the space between. So it's lean inside the muse. I wonder if that's how you say that, side. It's S-I-D-H-E. So, okay, so lean in is the fairy lover. And she is a fairy muse of Irish origin, said to visit artists and poets and bring them otherworldly inspiration. However, this gift is said to shorten the life of the gifted individual, as if the inspiration of the muse somehow uses up their life force. This can be seen as a malignant act on the part of lean inside, but from another perspective, the poet gives up his earthly life to be with his fairy lover. This is most likely a form of fairy pact, with the poet producing beautiful work for a while in his earthly life and then being taken to the other world to dwell with the side. People of this sign are gifted visionaries who seem to have an inexhaustible well of inspiration at their disposal, as well as the gift to inspire others. However, the constant activity of their minds can exhaust them, and they will often need time and space away from others to recharge their batteries. They can be entertaining in a group if baffling and eccentric at times, but lean inside people only let a few become close and see their true character. Whether through science, religion, or a combination of the two, people of this sign are most concerned with finding a universal truth and with expressing the beauty of truth to the world. This is like so cool. Isn't this fun? I mean, I just love it. All right, so we have one last one, which is right now. So it's February 20th to March 20th. So, and this is Ondine the nymph, and it's living waters, rivers, and streams. So Ondine was a beautiful nymph from a French tale of love, magic, and loss. She fell in love and married a mortal man, giving up her immortal life and beauty. He swears on his breath that he will be loyal to her forever, but once she bears his child, her looks begin to fade, and he soon betrays her. She finds him sleeping in the arms of another and curses him that if he should ever fall asleep again, he will lose the breath that he swore by. Nymphs are beautiful female spirits of water and are purely emotional creatures. This emotion becomes vengefully and lethally motivated when they are given cause. People of this sign are highly emotional, and intuitive individuals. Oh, that's cool. You're intuitive. They are extremely generous with their energy. They love to please others and make them happy, often sacrificing their own happiness and even health to do so. As long as people are appreciative of them, they do not begrudge their sacrifices, though they may have slightly martyred tendencies. However, if they are disappointed in the subject of their emotional investment, they are quick to revenge. They are natural healers and are highly empathic, but they have little control over their empathy, so they often get the emotions of others confused with their own. Ondine people find most happiness through the happiness of others, finding it difficult to pursue their own needs and ambitions. They can be highly creative as they have wonderful imaginations, but this is also something that is often sacrificed for others. I just love this. Isn't this fun? So thank you for being with me today, y'all. I'm so excited that I got to bring forward some fairy magic as well with these zodiac signs. It was so interesting. I love that book. Oh, hence, I'm going to show it one more time so everybody can see where I was getting this information from. Such a great book and a lot of fun. Very thick, full of tons of really cool stuff. Like I said, I'm going to have to look up some of these beings that we talked about today because there's quite a few out there. There's more beings than I can ever imagine in reality. And so anyway, so thank you again for joining me today. And then next week, we'll talk about whoever shows up as usual. But I feel like the magic ones are coming in because it's really important with these elephants for sure. So thanks again. And I will talk to you next week. Y'all have a great rest of your week.
This month's broadcasting is sponsored by ICU Dr. Lauren Love, ICU nurses, technicians, and staff in the Boston area hospitals.